Better.
Hello, hello, wonderful midlife ladies. It's Nicola Melissa, Coffee Chat. How are you? Today, the month actually is all about macronutrients. That is our theme for the month of July. It's a big conversation, and we're going to break it down week by week. So today, we want to kind of just give you a little bit of an overview, talk to you about the importance of macronutrients, which is kind of the gas that you would put in your car. But we also want to talk to you about the micronutrients, which is the oil that you put in the car, and you can't have one without the other. So, macronutrients, and I know, Melissa, when we start to dive into stuff like protein, the conversation of protein, you are going to really open up Pandora's box. But I think we can all agree about the gas in the car is that we need gas to fuel the vehicle to keep it running. And it's the same with the human body. We need macronutrients. So that's going to be our carbohydrates, that's going to be our fats, and that's going to be our protein. Now, you probably have been following us for a while. You know that we are in a course with Dr. Mindy Peltz, Fasting Like a Girl. We're almost certified. We're so excited. We're learning a lot. We have been working with women for years, and this is just us tweaking or sharpening our pencil so that we can serve women in a bigger and better way through a fasting lifestyle. And one of the things is the importance of understanding macronutrients. So one of the apps that you could just download is called Carb Manager. Is there another app that you've used too, Melissa, that you like?
Yeah, I think it's called Chronometer. Yep, I've used that
Yep.
one too.
Yeah. So typically, if you were our client, we would say, I want you to track your macros for a couple weeks. We want to see how you're doing. Second, ideally, I'd also love you to put a glucose monitor on because then we could see what's pulling you out of your fast, or what's keeping you in your fast. And that's a whole other story, but those would be kind of two things that we would work with the client is let's see how you're doing with your macronutrients. We're not big fans of calorie counting, are we?
No, I don't measure anything, so no, definitely
No,
not. And it's
but it
hard
is really
to
good to see.
measure.
It is. Yeah, it is. But what we do say is that for women, we want to make sure that you're getting your proteins down. Why? Well, I'll let you explain the protein part of it because I know you're so passionate about it. There's usually two things. There's two reasons why we want you to do your upping your protein. One is,
Oh yeah, so many, just before you even say that, like part of the reason why I'm not into calorie counting and it's about macros is it's a whole different conversation. Like us women have been led to believe that we have to be dieting all the time because we're supposed to be a certain weight, right? And so that's where this calorie counting culture came from, and it's awful. It's negative. But when we talk about macros and food as fuel, then it's a much more positive conversation. You're trying to give yourself nutrition so that you can function optimally versus the others. It's almost like punishing. Oh, I ate too many calories and I'm not allowed these calories, right? It's such negative energy. And sadly, women have never been taught how to fuel their bodies. Well, it's only recently that we're having conversations like this about macros, unless you were a bodybuilder, and that was negative for a lot of women, right? So
yeah.
with protein, it's so important because that is the absolute building block for our muscles.
Mhm.
So important.
Yeah.
We need to eat that in order to be able to build the muscles that we need. And that's a conversation for a whole other time is why is muscle
Yeah.
so important? But it's
Yeah.
the quantity of muscle you have basically is going to determine the quality of your life, is the biggest factor in
Right.
determining the quality of your life long term. So it's so important
Yeah.
that we're getting adequate macros. And when we do, you don't never ever need to worry about calories. You're not going to overeat and undereat.
Right. And so she's talking about muscle. I want her to touch on that. But then the second part of why protein is so important is your amino acids for brain health, for cognitive function, and making sure that you are supporting the liver because it's phase two of the liver detox. that you
Mhm.
need your amino acids to like do the breakdowns of your toxins and the breakdowns of your hormones. And we want to make sure that you're getting enough protein. So we're going to have an entire conversation coffee chat on protein, but we just want to do high level today. So protein, and the
Yeah.
thing about protein when you think about blood sugar, just real quick, is that it really only spikes your blood sugar typically a little bit, right? So it is a good way when you are living a fasting lifestyle to really pay attention so that your sugar isn't going crazy. The second one is fat,
Yeah.
right? So fat is again typically in the fasting lifestyle where we know that fat rarely spikes your blood sugar. So it can keep you full, it can
Hunger.
keep you satisfied. It's kind of like I'm right now working on a 48-hour fast. I've just kind of come off of 41, 42. Having a little bit of fat, let's say coffee cream, grass fed, of course, just calms the system. So you can try your hacks of like your electrolytes. And then when you add the fats, it just kind of calms the body down. And then I'm doing my blood glucose monitor. It's not spiking. So I'm staying within that fasting state of ketosis in my burning state. So fat keeps your sugar stable and it puts the brakes on the blood sugar. So fat is a great way to feel full and satisfied for sure. And then
Yeah.
carbs. Let's talk about carbohydrates. We all love carbohydrates.
Mhm.
Carbohydrates turn to sugar, blood glucose.
We
So
need
there's
them.
kind of two, right? And we do need them,
For so
definitely.
Well, there's such a big difference between good carbs and bad carbs. Like there really are. It's not to say don't ever eat the bad carbs, but
Yeah.
it people have cut out carbs altogether, and that's so unhealthy because carbs are our first source of fuel. Our brain runs on carbs. So you're cutting all those out. And then as women, we need them because of our hormones as well. So it's so important to be getting those. So we'll go deeper in that topic on that week. But yeah, there's good carbs and there's bad carbs, and we need to be eating the right amount of good carbs. Well,
Right,
the perfect
for our
balance.
hormones and depending on our cycle. And like Melissa said, we'll dive a bit deeper in there. But if you were to do just like, let's say if you're a postmenopausal woman right now,
Mhm.
and you're like, well, what's the formula for a postmenopausal woman? It would be about 75 grams of protein. It would be about 50 grams of net carbs. Net carbs just means you're taking your carbohydrate amount on the label, minusing the fiber. So if carbohydrates was 20, fiber was 7, net carbs would be 13 grams. And you can just always, again, your app should show you that. I was just doing it the other day. I was making like a smoothie and I scooped up a half of blueberries and I was like, okay, net carbs at 7. So you can have about 50 net carbs. Dr. Minnie calls it a ketobiotic. So you're still working towards keto, but you're also getting enough fiber to help you poop, to help you detox, to help you keep yourself full. I think the biggest mistake that has happened in the world of fasting, and that's why we are so in love with Dr. Mindy, is because we were fasting like a man.
Mhm.
Most women are still fasting like a man, and that's why we're so passionate about getting out there to say that we're going to teach you how to fast like a woman, and making sure that you're protecting your hormones,
Yeah.
right? So important. So that's kind of macro, just top end. So I said, so 75 grams of protein, 50 grams of net carbs, and then about 60% of your what would you say,
Ah,
even just 60% is coming from your fats of your day, right? So when you look at the carb manager, you'll see the pie. You'll see the pie shape and it will show you want it to be 60% of that is going to be coming from your fats for the day. And that will keep you full, it will keep you satisfied.
yeah.
So that's
I'm
kind
sure
of the
that's
basic formula.
I'm sure that's probably shocking for a lot of women because of the low fat, fat-free craze that went on, right? Again, so unhealthy. We need healthy fats.
Yeah.
The brain, again, back to the brain. We need that for healthy hair, skin, nails,
Yeah.
all those beautiful things as well. So important. So important.
Yeah.
And you will not
Let's
gain
talk
weight
about,
eating adequate fat,
right.
girls. For those in the
Let's
back.
talk about exactly. Micronutrients, oil. So what is
Yeah.
micronutrients, Melissa?
Yes, the micro, I love that description, right? your macros for the gas to keep the car running. And then every 3 months or so, you have an oil change. That's the oil in our body that just keeps everything running well. It's what allows your body to repair and recover and come back stronger, or to heal and be healthy again. And so it's so important that we get micronutrients, minerals. Everything is fortified, right? Everything has extra vitamins added to it. Most people are not vitamin deficient, maybe here or there, like B's, sometimes people need, or D's, we all need that, but we need our minerals badly. And so it's so great to get a whole food supplement. And the one that you and I love and have been eating for 16, 18 years is Juice Plus, because it is the concentrated fruit, veggie, berry powders that contains all the micronutrition. And there isn't anybody on the planet that gets enough every single day, right? We just don't need enough variety, color, quantity. Even what we're buying in the grocery stores is picked before it's ripe. So it's not acquiring maximum nutrition. It's just those last few days of growing on the vine, where an apple acquires all of its fruits, or sorry, all of its nutrition. And we need that. Again, there's so many different minerals, and they have so many functions in our body that we need them desperately. Like magnesium is one, so important for women as we get older. Potassium, all of them, they all have an important function. So it's so important you look at getting your micronutrition into your diet, not the multivitamins. Those aren't being recommended really anymore, because everything's fortified, but it's the micronutrition. It's where it's at. So important. So
Yeah,
important.
and I love to give the analogy of like an apple when you work with a
Mm,
coach, like eat the whole food, right? Well,
right.
scientists have discovered there's over 10,000 micronutrients in an apple.
Right.
10,000. Like how do you even compete with a multivitamin? So,
Right.
yes, whole food for sure. Managing the oxidative stress that happens at the cellular level every single day as we get older, we're more prone to that inflammation. And so, yeah, we'll give you a link down below that you can take a look. And if you would like, you can order the Juice Plus whole powders. We're in like 26 countries. It's just one of our hacks. And we always love to share our favorite hacks. We've been affiliates with the company now for a very long time, and we do it because we know it works. And I was just doing my blood sugar and spilling a little bit, like, oh my gosh, and just taking some Juice Plus. It doesn't take me out of my fasting state. It gives me the micronutrients to support the body and make it feel safe and calm. That's it. That's all we got for you today. We're going to dive into more of this topic so we can really inspire you to pay attention to your macronutrients this month, and to tune up, I guess, your the way that you're tracking to see how you're doing, right? Because we all need to be checking in, and maybe even this week you and I can do our own experiment. You can do
Yeah.
yours, I can do mine. We can come together next week and talk about how we did and give ourselves a score, A, B, or C, or maybe even an F.
Oh, it's asking a lot, tracking all that. All right.
Awesome. Thanks again for tuning into our coffee chat.
Bye, guys.